I moved here in 2017. I actually lived in the parking garage down the street in my car. I was homeless and I just never left. Obviously now I'm not homeless and I live in Henry County. So it's great to come back like whenever you get to perform in your hometown.
What does it mean for you to go from where you were to where you are now?
Oh, it's not easy. When you first make the decision to live in your car and you're sleeping in a parking garage in Atlanta, you're staring at the wall half the time and thinking, is this all going to be worth it, or am I just wasting my time? Mm-hmm. But when you go to a place like that mentally and you're willing to sacrifice anything, the outcome is so amazing. And that's where I was in such a zone when I was living in my car, because you couldn't have all these comfort zones of sleeping in and watching TV all day. That sun hits you so hard in the summertime that you have to wake up at 7 in the morning and hit the ground running. And it created such a good work ethic that I still carry to this day. And I hold myself to such a high standard. Example of why I climb Mount Everest.
Right.
Just there's always something to prove. There's always, like, I never just chill. For good or bad, I just never chill.
I'm glad you brought up Mount Everest, because on the surface, when you hear that, you're thinking, okay, that is not just a hobby. That is something that you have to prepare for. You have to really focus on, like, you have to be all in on doing something like that. When did that idea first come to you that you wanted to do that, and what did it take to make it happen to where you could actually go and do that?
You know, it was a couple of years ago. It was around 3 years ago now. I just had this overwhelming feeling that I needed to do it. And then how it hit me was, I think about the wrestling world. It's just a 15-minute ride. That's all it is. And the fact that when you're climbing something like Mount Everest, it's the most humbling thing. You can't have an ego when you're on that mountain. All you're literally thinking about is survival. So it's just like it's like something I felt like I needed to do. And then the work that went into it, and you got to remember, wrestling has no off season.
Yeah.
So all the training I had to do while still doing wrestling full time was insane. I was dodging so many bullets, like trying to stay in one piece. And then it was 2 years ago. I was a week from leaving to Everest, and I broke my foot in a match, and I thought Everest was over. I was like, oh, it's that close. I was 1 week away. But I went up to Tony Khan, who runs AEW, and I was like, can you make me a promise that please let me go for this mountain again next year? He's like, absolutely. So fast forward, a lot of people said, that should be a sign not to climb Mount Everest. And I said, no, absolutely. That's a sign to work harder and then hit it harder, because with Mount Everest, the first time I was just thinking about the summit. I wasn't thinking about the journey. I was just thinking about the summit. I gotta get to the summit, I gotta get to the summit. But when I broke my foot, it made me stop and smell the roses about what the journey actually is. So I was so much more grateful for the experience the second time around. And it was insane. It was very humbling. I got to the summit and I just started crying. It was just, couldn't put it into words like how amazing that felt. And the fact that I was able to do it in the middle of my career, the fact that AEW gave me the time to take off in the middle of my career, as opposed to keeping me on the machine where, like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Because you keep doing that, you keep living your life like that, and next thing you know, you're living your life for someone else and not yourself. And then this machine's gonna chew you up and spit you out one day. But if you let it take you, it's gonna leave you with nothing. But if you keep yourself intact, you'll be, just gotta stay humble and grounded.
And you got to plant the AEW flag. What did that mean to you to be able to do that?
Just to show the freedom.
Yeah.
It was freedom. Like, it was to show the freedom of what this place gives me. Not as a performer, but as a human. And that's like, because sometimes the human side is way more important than what you see on TV. Because what you see on TV is like 15 minutes a week. But you gotta think about the other time that you have with yourself and who you look at in the mirror. And the fact that I was like, I can look in the mirror and say, I'm free. This is amazing. You know, you can do whatever you want, live your life however you want as a performer in the ring, because there's so much freedom as a performer that you get, but you have all the freedom in the world as a human too. And the fact that they're letting me do all this crazy stuff, go skateboarding with Tony Hawk, go to Nitro Circus and backflip a tricycle with Travis Pastrana. There's so much stuff this place, just like, go be you. And that's all I've ever wanted in life.
You can't really relax, right? When you get to the summit, you said you had tears, you celebrated, but there's still a hard part coming down, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is a lot of people do expend all their energy, and there's a thing called summit fever,
Yeah.
where you're so fixated on making it to the summit that even if you're dying, you're just, I gotta make it to the summit, and then once you make it to the summit, you're like, you don't even think about the way down.
Yeah.
So it was crazy because as soon as I got to the summit, I asked my Sherpa, his name's Andorji, he's climbed Mount Everest 24 times.
Wow.
I asked him, do you want to go all the way down to Camp 2 today? Which is like no one ever just goes straight to Camp 2, that you normally go from the summit to Camp 4, chill out there for a night, and then make your way slowly to Camp 2. I was like, let's just do it right now. Let's just go to Camp 2. He's like, if you feel like you're up for it, let's do it. And then that was either the worst or best decision ever, because that was brutal. That was so brutal, doing that right from the summit.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And also just to be coming down and seeing all the new dead bodies that weren't there on that same trail hours ago, it's like you kind of get into this fight or flight zone, and you're just like, all right, am I tired and I need to sit down and take a break, or am I dying and I need to keep moving? It's like such a mental thing, and that's like kind of all I've ever wanted to ever do, was be comfortable in uncomfortable situations, because that's when you get the real essence of who you are as a human. Because like I said, there's no ego and there's no, cameras, celebrity, whatever you call it. It's just you and the mountain, and it's a very humbling situation.
Clearly, you're a guy who likes taking risks. Has that always been in you? Did you develop that as you grew up and got older? How long have you been this guy who's wanted to do things like stunts and climbing Mount Everest? Has it always been a part of you, that kind of that risk-taking personality?
Yeah, but it stems from a place of not having any. I was very insecure.
Yeah.
Like I had no confidence. It comes from a place of not having any confidence. And growing up, you start to listen to everybody that says you're going to amount to nothing, and you just accept it. All right, guess I'm going to amount to nothing. But the moment I started doing crazy stuff, it like was breaking down these mental barriers in my mind and making me stronger and stronger and stronger, physically, mentally. And I was like, no, I'm capable of something, because I was able to say jump off this 100-foot waterfall. Yeah. And I was like, if I'm willing to do that, like why can't I say go on national TV or whatever it is that I chose to do? But yeah, it stemmed from being told I was never going to amount to anything, so I felt I had nothing to lose.
You were injured recently and said some things that I think some people might be a little concerned about as far as how you were feeling. So how are you feeling now? And as far as like going back, full-time competing, where do you think you're at, and what are some of the things that you're kind of doing to get back to where you want to be as a performer?
So honestly, I passed all their tests.
Okay.
I passed every protocol that they had. But at this rate, it's just, hey, take a few weeks off. Give yourself a break. And if Everest taught me anything, it's just to focus on your outside life and not constantly wanting to be in the spotlight. If I have to just sit back for 2 weeks and been taken out of the tournament, so be it. It's fine. Like, I have no problem with that, because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I can't, I don't want to lose my spot. I got to be on TV every week. I don't care. I don't care. If they want what's best for me, I can respect that. But from a standpoint of me speaking to you, I feel 100%. I could do it I could do it tomorrow, but they're just saying pump the brakes. And it's fine, because you got to think of the long game. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
And that's not always something that's been the case in this business specifically, right? I mean, there was very little concern for, it was like you got to make the next house, you got to make the next show, you got to make the next town. So working for a company like that, even though I know you probably want to be out there, does it give you, some comfort knowing that, these guys look out for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel job security and respect is the only thing you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you got to think of someone as the human side, because when you start dealing with injuries and you start piling up and not take care of those, your career is just going to be shorter. And I know I go a really reckless style, but what I also do is I really, and I mean really, take care of myself outside of the ring. There's so much physical recovery that goes into it, mental, meditations, because if you keep the mind strong, then the body will follow. But if the mind's not strong, then the body will give out. But there's so much I do on both sides of it, physically, mentally, to keep myself 100%. And that's what I said, like, I'll go above and beyond anybody to take care of myself. And yeah, I understand and I respect AEW being like, yo, Darby, pump the brakes, because I'm such a go-getter. I'm like, I just get so excited. I want to like be in this tournament. I want to go crazy. I want to like every week. And a lot of people say, Darby, like as a fans, they're like, Darby, like you don't have to do this anymore to impress us. You've already won us over. I'm like, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me because I actually love the thrill of, say, going through a flaming table or whatever it is I choose to get myself into. It's fun, it's exhilarating. It's not for the people, it's for me.
How would you promo or sell this show to fans who want to come out on Wednesday?
How I would shoot it to people.
Yeah.
I would straight up say, hey, you get these performers that are untethered. They can do whatever they want. So it's literally performers from the heart wrestling out there. Their vision to you. It's not a manufactured thing that's like a plastic fake industry plant thing. It's the real deal with how performers are feeling from the heart. Because like I know when I go out there, whether I talk, I wrestle, it all comes from here. You can't create Darby. I am Darby. And that's what I feel like with a lot of the talent, especially in the middle of this Continental Classic. You get a lot of amazing wrestling, and it's all from here. So that's what I would say is, and it's so unpredictable too. Yeah. 1 week I'll be going through a flaming table. 1 week someone will be getting ran over. It's unpredictable, but that's how I love it. And that's how I think that nothing else is like AEW in that sense. You don't know what you're gonna get. So yeah, but at the end of the day, it's coming from here. I feel so free as a performer, and I know a lot of people do as well. So I feel like when you're sitting there watching it from the crowd, it's 100% authenticity.
And don't want to let you go without talking about the skate park. We talked about Henry County at the top of the interview. Tell me a little bit about that. Obviously, that's skate is something you're very passionate about, but tell me about this venture here in Henry County.
So originally I was climbing Mount Everest for Tony Hawk's charity, the Skate Park Project, because where I live in Henry County, the nearest skate park is 30 minutes from my house. And I think about that, I'm like, man, if I was a kid, a lot of parents aren't gonna wanna drive 30 minutes to take their kid to the skate park if they got off of work. And the fact that there's one so far away is insane. And I thought about when I was a kid, if I didn't have a skate park 5 minutes from my house, I don't think I'd be here today. And I mean that. I wouldn't be here without skateboarding. So the fact is, I wanna build something near me to give the community, because Henry County is just continuing to grow. McDonough is continuing to grow. And we need more stuff for the young people to really sink their teeth in it, because it changes lives. So we got Heritage Park. They gave us that whole Heritage Park, and it will be the only undercover park in the state of Georgia. Think about that. The whole state of Georgia, it'll be the only undercover park. It's gonna be a game changer. So, you know, that's the biggest thing. Now we're in the early developments of what obstacles we want to build, because like I'm helping design it, and I just want some crazy obstacles. So we're in the middle of all that. It's just yeah, we got the land, we got the city's approval, and we're ready to rock.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would find your story inspiring, from living in a parking garage to where you are now. Any message to someone, young people who may be in the spot now that you were back then? What message would you have for them?
Do anything to really prove your point. Even though it's not socially acceptable to be homeless in your car, know that there's a bigger picture to everything. Put all the work in physically possible. Don't be afraid of hard work, because at the end of the day, if you do everything physically, mentally possible, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, hey, I did everything I could today. That's all you can ask for. You know, don't have any comfort zones. Break whatever mental barriers you have down. And I know it sounds crazy, just don't listen to a lot of people. Because a lot of people would have told me you're insane if you're about to do, you know, the stuff that I've done, you know. Like, you can't live in a parking garage, that's insane. You can't climb Mount Everest, that's insane. You can't go through a flaming table, that's insane. But they don't know how free I am mentally. So it's all about being happy and free.